All right. Yeah, I'm just using this right now, and then I'm probably gonna switch over to another software.
Okay, no worries.
All right, yeah, I really appreciate you taking the time to meet and speak with me.
No worries, buddy.
As I know, the hockey year can be very, very difficult, especially preparing for a D1 season.
Yeah,
So
you caught me at a good time. So,
perfect, perfect. Out of curiosity, when do you actually have to go back? Like when?
Wednesday we move in. Practice not this Wednesday, following Wednesday. So I'll leave Tuesday, but we don't start the season until September 3rd, like the first official day of classes. That's when we start practice as well.
Oh, gotcha, gotcha. So like, have you
So
been up there? You tour it. You meet some of the
yeah,
guys.
yeah, I did my tour and all that stuff. Before I actually graduated, I had like about 2 weeks left until graduation at uni. So I did that and then came home for a little bit. And then I went back up there. I was just up there for about 6 weeks. We had summer classes and workouts and skates. So I kind of got the lay of the land more during that period of time, obviously. But a lot of teams do that, especially some of the higher end teams, the bigger schools that their schedule is a little bit more tighter. So you kind of free up the class schedule during the season and most of the local classes for the league.
Who do you guys open up with?
I believe it's Holy Cross. We open up with like two out of conference games, and then we have like an exhibition game against Harvard, I believe. And then I think our first like big weekend is against North Dakota. We go out to North Dakota, so I'll be fine.
Oh, dang.
So, um, but yeah, that's Holy Cross. I believe we
Does
open up.
Jason
We have like
Blake still play in North Dakota? Because I know he was up
I'm
to win the Hobie Baker.
I'm not sure, man. Honestly, I'm really bad at staying in the loop with players.
Oh,
I'm
you're
more
good. I know
so
that.
with goalies. Goalies tend to not really know too many of the players too well. Goalies
All
kind of
right.
know
So
goalies more.
I actually, for our first question, how'd you like being from South Florida, right? How did you get into hockey?
I originally got into hockey because I originally got into skating because of my mom. My mom was a figure skater growing up all the way to about college, and then she kind of was good figure skating as a coach. She was a figure skater coach, like figure skating coach in college. So I just got started just doing learn to skates, and then my dad was like, he's not playing, he's not figure skating, so don't get that stuck in your head. So the learn to skate that we did, you kind of like progress up into hockey. And then once I got into hockey, like the hockey stage, I kind of just really fell in love with it. But I
What
originally started skating because of my mom.
I was gonna say, like, what made you wanna like branch out to goalie? Like, what about the goalie position did you find like fascinating that as a kid made you wanna
Yeah,
pursue playing it?
I think honestly, with the gear kind of like you know interest me and draw me to it. And then when you're that young, everyone kind of would rotate. So every weekend, someone new would go in the net, and then I kept wanting to go in the net. I think I just liked being on the ice the entire time and able to come off the ice when you're in the net. So that's how I kind of really started to like it. And I kind of played both all the way up until about middle school. I would play like one team, be like the full time goalie, and then I'd play on another team and do play defense. I'd play out. So
So you're
that's
kind of
how I
all over.
originated. A little bit, yeah. Up until about like seventh or eighth grade, mom and dad were like, "All right, you need to pick one. Which one do you want to do?" And I just stuck with goalie. I just liked it, but I enjoyed both. But goaltending was a lot more fun.
So as a defenseman, were you a big shot blocker now that you're a goalie? Gotta appreciate those guys up front.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I can't remember really. I remember like liking to hit guys a lot. I like hitting guys, so I'd hit a lot and then try and bring the puck up. But those were kind of my memories playing defense. Not really play too
So
much forward.
I got a question, like throughout your career of playing juniors, playing Division 3, and now being able to play Division 1, have there been like
Yeah.
any insane saves that you look back on, like how'd I pull that off? Because as I was going through elite prospects, beforehand, I saw you posted a 944 save percentage. Like in any league, that's insane. That's like I said, that's NHL level numbers. That's quite impressive to put up.
Yeah. Um, insane saves. I mean, I know probably like one of the bigger ones I made in my college career was probably when we went to Utica, a sophomore year. When I was at uni, we went to Utica. We were in the final eight there. So um, I remember I made like a goal line paddle save in the second period, and we were getting like heavily outshot in that game, and everyone was battling in front. It was kind of a mad scramble. All the boys were helping out. I got a paddle on it. I kind of like helped kind of shift a little bit more momentum in the game, and we ended up winning that game. I believe it was 2-0. And that was a huge win because that sent us to the Frozen Four. That was the first time that our program went to the Frozen Four.
Oh, that's
And
sick.
yeah,
That's
in
impressive.
previous years they got to the final eight, but they couldn't get past. So that was probably the biggest one that I remember. That was probably the most meaningful um, in a game. Really.
So I've always wondered this, watching NHL goalies, like they come out of their crease depending on, the way the shooter's gonna like shoot or
Yeah,
pass. How do you know to, come out of the net? Because listen, a guy like Sergei Bobrovsky, he's so tiny, but the way he positions his body, he literally takes up the entire net. He throws off the perception of shooters. How does a goalie read what's going on the ice, especially fast pace?
yeah. I mean, that's part of having a strength as a goalie. You have to read the play and know when to come out and challenge a little bit more, when to stay a little bit further back. Typically, you're coming out a little bit further when there's more of a shot threat. You're staying a little bit further back in your paint. Typically, when there's more passing options that can go across, it's just a little bit harder to go to those passing options laterally when you're further out. So it's a part of making reads, and that always adjusts as you go up in different playing levels, and things may be different at different levels, and you have to adjust your reads. And it's definitely a strength. It's a skill that always need to develop and constantly keep working on.
So another thing I've always wondered this, especially, with the Stanley Cup Finals and the Stanley
Yeah,
Cup playoffs, when a goalie's on a big stage, for instance, Stuart Skinner, he's been known to, when he gives up a really bad goal, he gets in his head and he just completely gets out of a cycle and he just lets his emotions dictate the way he plays. How are you able to control your composure if, let's say, you give up a bad goal or just a bad bounce and it winds up in your net? What do you do to, shake it off and say, I got this, I can keep going, I'm not gonna let it bother me?
yeah, it's definitely not easy, especially when you're playing on a stage like the Stanley Cup Finals. But I think at every stage, every goalie deals with it. Um, you never want to let a bad goal in, but they do happen every now and then, and it's kind of one of those things you try and move on from as quick as you can because it's in the past. Thinking about it too much is not going to really help in that moment. You just try and stay present and look to make your next save instead of being afraid to make the next save. I think it is kind of the key to try and bouncing back after a bad goal or after any goal. Really. No one wants to get with a goal, so every goalie has different things. You have different sayings to tell yourself in those particular scenarios. So every goalie is a little bit different. They handle it a little bit differently, but for the most part, I think you find some sort of way to kind of move on and also kind of pump yourself up, give you that little bit more of encouragement if it bothers you that much. Sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it does. It just depends on the situation, the goalie, I think sometimes.
Gotcha. Well, going back to, the professional leagues, what goalie would you say you model? Because like every kid who plays hockey, they're like, oh, I model my game after Pavel Datsyuk, Patrice Bergeron, somebody
Yeah.
like that. What goalie would you say throughout your career of going through every level of hockey? Who have you kind of look up to? Like who gives you that inspiration?
Carey Price is my my all-time favorite goalie. He doesn't play anymore. But he was my
Yeah, it's
favorite goalie.
sad.
Yeah, my favorite goalie of all time. I just loved how he played. Um, just his technique was so well. Um, so I always still find myself watching videos of him, watching games of him. I took a lot of pieces from his game and tried to put it my game. I think right now too, I really like Sergei Bobrovsky, obviously being from Florida too, and Panthers being a team that I was watching cheer for. I really like them, and they kind of have a little bit of some comparisons as of late where Bob plays now, but um, yeah, Carey Price my all time favorite, and right now probably Bobrovsky watching is my
All
favorite.
right, so I was gonna ask you Prime Lundqvist, Prime Price, Game 7. Who you got? My answer would be Prime Lundqvist. Just there's a little bit more bias because I'm a Ranger fan, but
Yeah,
I've always heard that debate throughout the many years of the two greats that never got their cup.
yeah, they're uh they're two really good choices. I really didn't watch Henrik Lundqvist too much. Um, I do like him though too, but I don't know, just watching from Price, and I know he's won a lot of Game 7 games. I'm just gonna say him. I think Lundqvist though has gotten a lot of accolades though, as he deserves. But I think if I had to choose between those two, I'd say Price just because I'm a little bit more familiar with kind of like his track record with that. But I mean, those are really two hard ones to choose from.
Yeah, wait, so you said you were up there for a little bit of summer classes and like some summer training. Like,
Yeah,
what else did you do to keep your body well conditioned in the off season? Because a lot of guys like to take that time just to relax, not necessarily skate, but do a little bit of lifting and some sort of cardio to stay in that
yeah,
state when the season
yeah,
starts.
yeah. Usually when the season's done, I like to get off the ice. Take about like 2 months off from the ice. That's something I've been doing the past couple of years, and it's helped. Um, as far as like being in the gym, I take probably like half that time away from the gym, so maybe a couple weeks, and then try and kind of get back into things and ease into it slowly, kind of rebuild some things and rehab anything that's been bothering me, and then working out. I'm always continually working out before I get back into um, the ice part of the off season. I want to try and make sure my body's in a good enough state to get back on the ice and feel good. Because you never really feel that good taking that much time off because your body's rested and you just haven't been as sharp, which just fine. I like that because it means your body's kind of rested up and healed in a sense. But just kind of take those 2 months off from the ice and then kind of throughout the summer just kind of do enough skating to where you feel like not awkward or like not dull when you get back out there on the ice. So towards this part of the summer, though, you're on the ice 3 4 times a week regularly. But early in the summer, it's probably when you first start skating, probably not as much, maybe once, twice for the first month or so.
So this past year, we obviously had BU BC play each other last year. Both were ranked 1 and 2.
Yeah.
What So you guys get to play in January. Obviously, I'm actually gonna be there. I look forward to going to the
Yeah.
Beat Pot. Are you excited to be able to finally participate in that, be there?
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. You don't really realize you hear about the bean pot and you watch it, but you don't really know how special and how much it means until you really get down into the heart of Boston. And when you're part of BU now, it's a big thing for BU and the other schools as well that are part of it. So we have to take it seriously, and it, it's it's something special playing at the Garden, a TV Garden, and battling for a championship between the four schools in that Boston area. It's pretty cool and pretty unique. There's not too many other you know teams and conferences that are doing something like that, to my knowledge. But I'm pretty excited for it. And everyone,
I actually
everyone on that
remember
team is.
sitting down and watching the first game when Macklin Celebrini just fired one over Jacob Fowler's head.
Yeah, there's some moments that are in those games that I'll never forget. And I haven't actually been in the Garden at all, so that would be pretty cool as well. I mean, I'll probably be in there before then, but really cool to kind of finally see that place.
All right, final question before we wrap things up. What BU teammate are you most excited to be able to play with?
Um, I don't know. There's a lot of them. I mean, just being on the ice with some of them already, and it's been pretty cool. Um, I honestly really can't say like one particular guy. I think just being a part of the team has been something super cool so far. So I think seeing all the new talent too, and you see the returners and some of the younger kids that come in.
Well,
Um,
I know Cole Iserman there. Cole Iserman is there. Quinn Hudson, who is a brother of Lane Hudson.
yeah,
Tom Wallander, who is an NHL draft prospect. He was picked. Jack Hughes,
yeah,
Kings prospect. I mean, you guys got a lot of talent. For
yeah.
I really hope. I mean, I went 2 years ago to the Frozen Fours in Tampa, so I got to see
Mhm.
Minnesota play BU, and I
Yeah,
really thought at one point BU was gonna like come through and just upset Minnesota. Didn't happen. Quinnipiac on the whole thing, but I
yeah,
mean, I am really excited to see how you guys do this year because there is so much talent
yeah.
returning, like you said, and also a lot of U.S. national kids coming
Right.
in. Biggest
Yeah,
one
it's
most likely being Iserman because he flipped his commit from Minnesota to return home.
yeah, yeah. It's going to be a really good team. I mean, you look at the roster and a lot of good returners and a lot of really good young kids that are coming in, not just program kids, other kids that have played outside the program that are drafted. And um, even if they're not drafted, they've had some sort of good track record and really good players. And everyone's got a good work ethic on the team, and everyone seems to be really having a good time there. You can see it on everyone's faces, everyone enjoys it. So I think we'll have another good year, and I think everyone's excited to finally get started again. Of
All right, well, again, I appreciate you coming on. I know this was
course,
kind
man.
of short, but
No worries.
wait, real quick, actually. So you said your cousins or you're related to Matthew Nyes.
Yeah, yeah. Related to Matthew, um, we have a big Slovak family from Slovakia, so I'm related to him. I don't know exactly. I think it's second cousin. Um, but it's him, and also has an older brother, Philip, who had another successful college career. He was playing pro overseas. So I talked to Philip a couple times, but related to him, I don't we don't really see each other or speak um, that much, but we have family that are constantly talking and in contact, and it's cool to see his journey. He's had a great journey through college, and he's obviously playing in Toronto. He's sticking well. He's making huge impacts on that team. So it's cool
No, no, he's gonna be a
to
star.
see
He's
that
playing with
happen.
Matthews and Nylander, Marner. Young
Exactly.
kid. Well, again, Billy,
So
I really appreciate you taking the time to hop on my podcast, and I wish you the best this
no
season.
worries, man. Thank you.
Thank you again, man. I really do appreciate this.
Of course. No worries.
All right,
Glad to
I
be here.
wish you the best. Have a good season.
Thanks. Thanks, buddy.
Bye.